Okay, let's unpack this. We've been handed a really insightful stack of sources detailing the pretty massive expansion strategy of Lanson Place. They're a major Asia-Pacific hospitality manager, really known for upscale service departments.
That's right.
And this deep dive, it's about more than just, a real estate announcement. It feels like a detailed blueprint revealing where global business travel and that demand for extended stays are heading.
Absolutely. If you are tracking how high-caliber professionals move across Asia-Pacific, this strategy is basically, well, it's a roadmap of their housing needs.
Yeah.
What's fascinating here, I think, is the sheer duality of their approach. Lanson Place is targeting two entirely different market types at the same time.
Right.
You've got the hyper-efficient, government-backed infrastructure hubs in China, and then totally different, the established, historically sensitive gateway cities like in Australia.
Okay.
So our mission today is really to dissect these strategic moves, specifically in Shenzhen and Melbourne, try to figure out the why behind this growth, and ultimately understand this massive pivot they seem to be making in their actual business model.
Right, because we're looking at a brand opening its 10th property in one city and then making its absolute debut in another. It's quite a contrast.
It really is.
Gives us immediate narrative tension.
So let's jump in with the sheer scale of ambition in China first.
Let's do it. Shenzhen.
Yeah, let's start with Shenzhen. It just exemplifies pure scale, pure efficiency. The Lanson Place Grand Bayview in Qianhai, Shenzhen, that's slated to open in September 2025. And this single property marks the brand's 10th opening in the region, and it's just enormous.
It truly is massive. And what stands out here isn't just the size, though that's impressive, but the location and the sheer volume.
The volume.
1,028 units.
Wow.
Yeah. This isn't just an apartment building. It feels more like a piece of urban planning. It sits right in the Qihai Shenzhen Hong Kong Modern Service Industry Cooperation Zone.
Okay, that's quite a mouthful. It is. But the point is, this development is explicitly backed and designed to attract that high-caliber international business talent.
Right.
And it supports Shenzhen's pretty aggressive vision of cementing itself as a global talent hub, potentially rivaling Hong Kong.
It sounds like it was almost commissioned specifically to solve a high-volume housing problem for incoming professionals.
That's certainly how it looks.
And here's where the architectural choices become really important, I think, especially for you listening. The project was designed by Foster Plus Partners.
Yep, the internationally renowned firm.
When a service department brand hires a design giant like that, it signals serious intent, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It does. And Foster Plus Partners focused on adaptability here. We're seeing modular construction, layouts that can be easily adapted, and specific inclusion of communal wellness spaces. The units themselves range from, 74 to 152 square meters.
And using modular design in a 1,000-unit complex?
Yeah.
That screams optimization, right?
Yeah.
Speed, cost efficiency, long-term maintenance.
Exactly. This facility feels like it's engineered for the future of large-scale professional migration, not just for a luxury short stay.
You're right. It's not just luxury. It's integrated living. The CEO, Michael Hobson, he highlighted this property as a significant milestone and focused on enhancing the residential experience with personalized service. Crucially, the location. Prime Giwan district.
Yeah, location's key.
It places residents instantly next to Fortune 500 companies, financial institutions, great metro connectivity. It's like a dedicated, self-contained corporate ecosystem.
Exactly. Shenzhen is the model of strategic alignment. The brand is building infrastructure that directly supports government and corporate mandates.
Right.
It minimizes their market entry risk because the demand is essentially, it's baked into Shenzhen's economic growth strategy. That seems to be their play in established Asia-Pacific hubs, maximum scale, minimum friction.
That model makes a lot of sense when you have, like you said, potentially 1,000 people needing housing almost immediately. But that hyper-efficient 1,000-unit strategy, that doesn't work everywhere, does it?
No, definitely not.
If Lanson Place wants to expand its footprint, its brand recognition outside those established Asian hubs, they need a completely different value proposition.
Absolutely. And that's our pivot. Moving from the high-tech, massive scale of Shenzhen.
Right.
Let's turn to their long-awaited Australian debut in Melbourne, announced back in July 2024. It is a strategic flip, almost a deliberate contradiction.
It truly is. This is where history meets high-end luxury. The Lanson Place Parliament Gardens in East Melbourne.
Beautiful area.
Yeah, and it's the result of an $80 million transformation of a 123-year-old historic building.
The former Salvation Army Printing Works.
Exactly. That's a huge shift from a brand new urban center like Kenai.
Totally different approach. And that $80 million figure is crucial. In Shenzhen, the investment is largely about vertical volume, efficient construction.
Speed and scale.
Speed and scale.
Yeah.
In Melbourne, the investment is about surgical preservation, creating a highly distinctive, you could say, boutique asset. Okay? This development strategically blends the old and the new. The historic structure that houses the high-profile bits, the hotel lobby, the bar, the restaurant.
The places where the brand makes its first impression.
Precisely. The character pieces.
So the history adds the character.
Yeah.
And then the accommodation. Where do people actually stay?
Right. So behind that historic facade, they built a new 15-story accommodation tower.
Ah, okay.
The total offering is 137 serviced apartments and hotel rooms.
137 versus over 1,000 in Shenzhen. Quite the difference.
Massive difference. This is about making a statement in a highly competitive, very mature market like Melbourne.
Right.
It marks a crucial entry into the Australian market for them, aligning with that strategy to explore new gateway markets outside of their established Asian bases like Hong Kong and China. Melbourne required a landmark property, something special, to establish the Lanson Place name and its luxury credentials there.
So, okay, if Shenzhen is about volume and utility for a known demand, Melbourne is about prestige, about market penetration, maybe creating demand.
Yeah, creating that brand cachet.
Okay. But once they've established these two very different models, what does it mean for Lanson Place's overall corporate trajectory? Where do they go from here?
That brings us to probably the most significant shift in their blueprint, I think. They currently manage 11 properties across Asia-Pacific.
Right.
To jump quickly from 11 to a truly global footprint, they just can't rely on the $80 million capital expenditures needed for historic transformations every time.
No way.
Or the massive land investment required for something like Canhai. It's not scalable in the same way.
So how are they going to accelerate this growth without, breaking the bank?
The key shift is their focus on what we call the asset-light model.
Asset-light, okay.
They are actively pursuing management contract opportunities and strategic partnerships, moving decisively away from actually owning the assets themselves.
Ah, okay.
This is the crucial distinction. Lanson Place is shifting from capital expenditure buying and developing properties to generating recurring fee revenue by managing properties for other owners.
I understand the financial logic there.
Yeah.
It definitely accelerates growth velocity dramatically. But wait, if they go asset-light, rely on management contracts with property owners, aren't they risking diluting their luxury brand?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
How do they ensure quality control, maintain that signature hospitality standard when they don't actually own the building?
That is the essential challenge of the asset-light model. You're absolutely right. And the answer has to lie in enforcing rigorous brand standards and highly personalized, detailed management contracts. They are essentially selling their operational expertise and their service philosophy.
So the brand itself becomes the product.
In many ways, yes. The Shenzhen project and the Melbourne project, they act as flagship statements. They are the physical definition of the brand standard that every managed property must then adhere to.
Got it. From design specs to staff training?
Exactly. They are betting that their name and their operational quality are valuable enough for property owners to sign on and maintain that quality control. It's a big bet, but potentially very lucrative.
That makes the brand integrity itself the core asset they're leveraging. It's a huge strategic pivot for long-term scalability.
Okay, so where are they applying this new asset-light model first?
Well, the sources say their immediate future outlook is focusing expansion primarily on Japan and Australia.
Interesting. So pushing outside their traditional home bases, which tells us they are confident in this model.
Absolutely. And this raises another important question. Who exactly are they building for next? The market's changing so rapidly.
Right.
To cater to this, they introduced an entirely new sub-brand, Serviced Suites by Lanson Place.
Okay, Serviced Suites. What makes that distinct from their main luxury apartments? Is it just a marketing name?
No, it seems more fundamental than that. It's positioned as a response to evolving professional demands. It's a move toward a more contemporary, perhaps leaner serviced apartment model.
Wonder how.
We're talking about design maybe optimized for shorter tenancies, often featuring slightly smaller common areas perhaps, more tech integration for seamless check-in, services.
And maybe a simplified amenity package compared to the massive Grand Bayview type properties. They recognize the modern professional, especially, say, relocating millennials, requires more agility, less of that traditional long lease rigidity.
They're really laser focused then on capturing those shorter-term leases, the flexible lifestyle demands of relocating professionals.
Seems like it.
The corporate traveler today often needs housing for, what, 30 to 90 days, maybe 6 months? Not always a full year anymore.
Precisely. And this is where their philosophy tries to differentiate them from the giant, sometimes anonymous hospitality platforms.
How so?
Well, it's apparently not enough just to be lean and tech-friendly. Their differentiation strategy, as they frame it, is to balance that technological integration with intensely personalized services.
Meaning human intervention where it matters most.
Exactly, and a real focus on creating a palpable sense of community within the property.
That community element is crucial for extended stays, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially for professionals moving to a new city, maybe without an existing network. They need a place to feel connected, and quickly.
Correct. The Service Suites brand sounds like it's designed to cultivate that community through dedicated communal spaces, maybe curated events,
Okay.
recognizing that the temporary nature of the tenancy actually increases the need for social integration. It tries to move corporate housing from just transactional to something more relational.
Okay, so let's try and summarize this deep dive then. We've witnessed Lanson Place executing this really clear duality in their expansion strategy.
The Joel track.
On one hand, huge investments in massive, architecturally significant centers like Shenzhen, tailored for existing global talent flows in established Asian hubs.
Yep. Feed the beast where it's already hungry.
Right. And on the other hand, these high-cost, high-profile historic transformations like Melbourne for brand establishment and breaking into new
As
markets.
statement pieces.
Exactly.
But the underlying strategic thread connecting these seemingly contradictory projects is, as we discussed, flexibility, and that crucial transition to the asset-light model for future growth.
Right.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, Lanson Place's introduction of the Service Suites brand signals, I think, a pretty clear realization that corporate housing is fundamentally changing.
Yeah.
The days of only long, rigid leases catering to traditional expat assignments, they seem to be rapidly ending or at least diminishing. They seem to be positioning themselves perfectly to capture this growing market of highly mobile, highly discerning professionals looking for these flexible, extended stay solutions across the region.
Okay, so we've established that Lanson Place is targeting millennials, professionals who demand shorter tenancies, more flexibility, moving them into well-appointed, community-focused service departments.
That's the strategy.
So the question for you, the listener, to mull over is this. As flexible work, remote-first work, continues to grow across major industries, will the upscale flexible service department ultimately start to replace the traditional long-term 12-month rental market for mobile professionals across the entire Asia-Pacific region? Is that where we're heading?
Interesting thought.
Something to think about.